Oh, very good. Good morning. Day 3, and here's beautiful Komachi. So this is the demonstration on the final day of our workshop. We're into the 100-meter straight, so they say. Okay. So so I've asked Komachi to turn towards me because the last 2 days we did the side profile and then a bit more of a, the one of Topaz was a bit more 3/4 view. Still need to do a job on the mouth there. So today I thought it'd be kind of good to have a bit more, almost a complete turn. And Komachi has a way of making, you have a way, Komachi, of creating elegance in just a tiny tilt of the head. Isn't there this lovely, I love the way that your shoulders are in one direction and your head in the other. Just now it's probably really hard for your neck, but it makes for a tension that's dramatic and beautiful, and then the downward gaze, so it's lovely. All right, good. Yeah, so let's see now. Isn't it a lovely thing actually to have the day in here now? Lovely people, beautiful model, sea air, and I'm just remembering to be grateful. That was the card I picked this morning, gratitude. And I thought, there we are now. And we have everything today, especially the model. That's a big bonus. Okay. I was running around like a blue arse fly this time yesterday morning, trying to find someone to sit. Okay. And it was fully I don't want you to take on that now, oh Jesus. Anyway, you know that. It was completely my own thing. I had 2 models for the 6th. Okay, so I think I probably would begin again like yesterday with, I don't know if it was the hair I started with yesterday, I think it was. No, it was the day before I started. Yeah, but with Claire, the in-between kind of, oh that's right, the skin, yes. Yeah, she's well done, Mona, paying attention. So the blue and brown together, I think, make a good colour to represent the dark of the hair. Let's see now. Yeah, so I'm just going to make a start along. So there's the shape of the hair as it comes in to meet the face on the edge here. And sometimes I find, like I was saying to you, Leslie, holding the brush down and pulling it up is an exciting way to put the paint on, because you paint it once and then the colour comes back down itself and paints itself a second time almost. To fill the space. Yeah, it feels like a natural action. I used to think, why am I doing that? I think partly it's to have just phically to have a more expansive move, than a kind of a timid one. I don't know. I thought maybe that's part.
I was trying to explain it why going up was very much easier to create than coming down.
Yeah, it seems a swifter way to fill in the space too, somehow. Yes. I don't know. Yes. Yeah, I suppose your gravity is going with you, isn't it, yes. If you pull it up? Anyway. So there we have it. And then there's the option too of pressing against an edge. So the dark of the top of the hair there is clearer to me than the bit where the hair meets the skin. So in that instance, it helps me to kind of press the brush against the paper in such a way that the edge is made darker at the top, kind of. But I suppose, here we go again. That we could. Yeah. Anyway, there's a number of ways of playing with the brushes. Okay. And it is like an upside down L shape, is what I'm seeing generally. I think it still really helps if you can to call it a shape, to bring geometry into it, so that in your head you've got the idea of what it is you're making in a general way. Yeah. And I wanted to extend it up a little bit higher. And now there's a very thin sliver of hair coming down this side. And of course it might shift significantly, but it's okay. I'm kind of telling myself, and I believe it, that it's okay if it shifts later on, you know. Yeah. 90% believing it. Okay. I suppose without that 1%, you wouldn't be kept on your toes either. You know, or the 10%. Kind of need to have a certain element of not knowing. And I think that's it. There's something about that, like the kind of being curious, you know, really what is it that's happening in this particular face, and wanting to become really immersed in being curious, so that it's a new discovery that's being made, like. Okay, so I put a bit of burnt sienna into that there. I think that's burnt sienna, and because when I half close my eyes, the ear seems to be quite dark over on that side there. Okay, and there's the length, you know, kind of looking at the length of the hair here down to where the collar is, and there's a triangle of skin. Yeah. Let me see now. I wonder if it'd be better for me to just go with the bigger brush, and make a colour that represents the shadow generally, and rather than work my way around, I think it would be an easier way for me to find the shapes that I'm seeing if I were to just keep my eye scanning over the full face and find where the darks and lights are. So I've made a colour that I feel like is going to work for the little bits of shadow, especially on the lower half of the face, because of course the light is coming from above. So there'll be the shadow under the nose, shadow down here where the jaw stops and the space around it starts. Okay. And I suppose I can kind of relate it to the ear a little bit too. And the neck coming up, to see how much that will slice off the face if it was to continue. Okay, I'm starting again. It felt a little bit hairy. Sometimes colours that mix together seem a little bit hairy, so I'm going to make the colour a different way. I think that made it a little bit bitty. So now I'm using the sap green and the cadmium red and a touch of the yellow ochre started out there. I think that's okay. You know, that thing of holding it up to see what it's like too in relation to the skin. And what I had been using before was the burnt sienna with yellow ochre. And that's what I didn't so much like how that was responding to the paper or something. I'm not sure. I felt like this is a smoother way to make the shapes that I'm seeing here. All right. And there's a very clear triangle there, isn't there, where the kimono comes down. And I think with my eyes half closed, I could be fairly clear that there's shadow generally there. And once I've got some indication of the landscape, I think then I can begin to do things like the eyebrows and other stuff. And just to ease the, yeah, I might put a touch of blue in too, just because it's lovely. And there's a very beautiful kind of arc from one shoulder down to the other, or you know, this dramatic sweep down the way, and then her being upright coming through it. So I'm looking at the shape of that, you know, with the shoulder and the blue coming out here. And then there's a direction that way. Okay. And we've got as well that beautiful red. It's extending out the back there, which I would say is maybe a mix of alizarin crimson and cadmium red. And with my eyes half closed, it's quite shadowy towards the head, so I'll put a bit of, maybe the viridian green would be better. Viridian green and alizarin crimson, so that it's not so colourful that it'll shine forward too much. But just to indicate it there, I think. Yeah, something. So it's, I think you were doing this yesterday, that there's a tendency to go for the yellow, the blue, and the what's the third one? Red. So the three primaries, that you have some indication of the three primaries together as you work. You're inclined to move towards red if you've got a lot of blue and yellow, you know, so I think it's quite nice to keep and I feel like this is, you know, a little bit yellowish, a little bit red, a little bit blue. Okay. And of course in the top, in the kimono, there's beautiful colours too that could later on be pulled out. Okay, so I'm going to do something now in those eyebrows, I think. They're a helpful thing to place, a helpful shape. And because there's more face on this side than on that side, I know that the eyebrows are going to be, you know, that this one is going to be further to the left as I'm looking at Komachi. And it's almost just a rounded triangle shadow that I'm seeing here. Yeah. And then I think maybe it's helpful for me to find the underside of the nose as well just now. It's really like a workout, isn't it? It's like really, you know, and there's something about it's a joyous feeling too, while at the same time feeling treacherous, like summoning up the gumption to just really find out what it is that's happening there. I don't know if the word is gumption, but there's a gathering in of like focus, maybe. And it sometimes pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Alright, so I just wanted to indicate the position of the nose there, across the face and down the face. And I'm not seeing it so much as a nose, as opposed to a general shape of shadow that I can later clarify. Okay, and then there's a connection between the edge of the face, touching those runs and making something happen there too. But I think it's all right. There'll be a bit of skin here where the neck enters into the kimono. I don't know if it's that high up though. Okay. A shadow in between the two eyebrows there, which doesn't have a hairy edge to it though. Okay. And this now is alizarin crimson and yellow ochre. Mm-hmm. I think if you're in doubt about where things are, sometimes it's hard because everything is in flux. So it's hard sometimes to anchor anything. But I think in that instance, like, you just need to kind of, what I find helpful is to follow the line of the eyebrow there and to recognize to follow the line where the shadow around the eyebrow stops and the light starts, and to see where it would cut through the edge of the face. And it's only through kind of plotting lines like that all the time that gradually it comes into being kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm. I sometimes wonder about the value of this, because this is the way that anyway, I'm just doing it. Sorry, for goodness sake. Okay, it's only 20 minutes, you know. How much longer have I got, actually? Let's see if I can get...
3 minutes.
Okay. Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. Okay then. And I could maybe just put a touch of warmth there. And some indication of the mouth would be helpful, wouldn't it? So where the corner of the mouth sits, it sits just above that beautiful neck there, but I think the neck it could actually shift in a little bit. I think the neck could shift in, and then you know, I'm going to put another colour into that red line there. I'm going to put some Viridian green in there, so that it doesn't read as being the same colour as the mouth will be eventually. Okay. And I think what I find helpful is to err on the side of using a slightly bigger brush, slightly bigger than the part you're painting. If you err on the side of using a bigger brush rather than a smaller one, so that instead of doing like 5 or 6 marks, you're doing 2 to make the shape. And you can always make it smaller afterwards, where it's the wild goose thing again, isn't it? It's tricky to make it bigger, or to make it wild after you've created a safe mark. Just finding, oh my goodness, I'm just finding the position of where I think the line of I think that needs to shift down, and I think that this needs to, yeah, we'll get there. My goodness, it's tricky, isn't it? Just putting a bit of green into that, so that the colour that I'm using for the jaw is going to be that greenish red. I feel like that needed to move down. Okay. And there again, that's maybe a little bit strong. Okay, and now corner, like the corner of the mouth in relation to the eyebrow above, and the length of the face, I think, is what I'm trying to locate there now. How far away from the nose it might be. And of course, we can move things in the nose as well. And before I address the upper lip again, I'm going to put that shadow beneath the lower lip. So I think that'll help. And the lower lip has got more volume than the upper lip does from this viewpoint. Just push it up with a bit more fluidity on the brush. I washed the brush there and brought it back in with just a run, so that I could move the shape. Sometimes when you place a colour down, it needs to be adjusted after it's been placed. And you can do that just with some My God. Time a kangaroo down. Oh, it's Tigger. Well, that was feckin' distracting. Bird song or something. I'm only messing. It was really quite nice, actually. Gosh, I'm such a tetchy one, aren't I? Like, really? I'm surprising myself. In a way, it's no harm. And imagine if I hadn't. My God. Okay, so there we have it. I think I'm going to just stop and let you move your own way. Thanks ever so much, Komachi. And I'll take a picture of you from that angle so that anyone watching who wants to can have a go at this angle. Thanks for watching.